let's do this. We're going to start presenting very important information about my thesis. This is motivation at the core, understanding, engagement, and performance in self-directed learning English learning through the ABA English platform. So to begin with, let me show you a couple of images that I really understand they are very important and it is necessary to understand before knowing why did I choose to make a research project about the topic. Understanding the traditional methodologies and versus the self-directed learning. In these two images, we can understand and we can identify the big difference between traditional methodologies where people in Colombia and also, well, in the target population that I'm using for the study is that in Cartagena, many people still prefer to learn with traditional methodologies. They prefer to go to a classroom and being taught by a teacher, showing and giving examples and providing information, and just a student receiving all the information. It is difficult for anyone to adapt, to get adapted to virtual learning. And in this case, using the ABA English platform, using the self-directed learning. It is completely necessary to understand these two important aspects of the learning, because in ABA English platform, it is necessary for the person, for the student, to get adapted to virtual learning. So based on this last report back in March 2025, we could identify kind of low accomplishment. That is, it wasn't bad at the moment when we generated this report, but going deeper into different analysis and trying to motivate the student into advancing in the levels of the Common European Framework of Reference. Look at this. From a total of 4,500 premium accesses, students with an access to ABA English, only 28% of the students, that was 1,263 students, completed levels. And some of the students repeated then completing different levels. For example, Sylvia, me, using an ABA English platform, I completed 5 or 6 levels in my own course, right? So those students are included in this report. So from that 28%, only 53% of those 100% of the students, only 53% achieve the level A1 and 25% the level A2 and so on. You can see it in this graphic. So based on this, I've decided to identify what is actually going on with engagement and motivation for students using the ABA English platform, but specifically within Confenalco Cartagena. So in my document or my thesis proposal, I have organized the research questions, focusing on learner motivation, understanding what drives learners' engagement, the engagement influence, what is actually helping the students that are completing different levels, what is the impact on performance outcomes for those students, and of course, we will focus exclusively on the platform, ABA English platform, studying the platform's role in autonomy. Now, for the main objective, my aim is to understand the motivation, right? Explore the factors driving the learner's engagement, analyze the patterns, what is the interaction of the students within the platform, and correlate outcomes, linking the motivation levels with the performance results. So the population that we have decided to use is the target population. In this case, is the English for Productivity program in Confinalco. It's a special program that the company has come up with, and different companies participate, including their employees, into this program for studying English. The sample size is about between 30 and 40 active learners using the ABA English platform. And we have selected participants on the usage of the platform that we will show later on. So the research methods used in this study are the mixed method. The instruments that we are using is service progress reports generated from the platform specifically, and interviews, right? We would like to analyze this in a quantitative and qualitative way. For the data analysis, well, we have to perform some data cleaning, ensuring accuracy and reliability of collected data, which actually we have done so far. The thematic analysis, identifying patterns in qualitative data from the interviews, which they are not applied yet, just a few days ago. The survey and the interviews instruments were just validated, and they are authorized already to be used. So when we finish the whole project and the whole thesis, we will be able to integrate the findings from these multiple resources effectively, from the surveys, from the interviews, and also from the data analysis from the progress reports in the platform. Now, in the data analysis evidences, we will have the learners' interviews. They will illustrate motivation through personal stories, the engagement patterns displayed via comprehensive analytics charts, and triangulated evidence consolidating the results from the three mentioned sources. Okay, this is getting better and better. From the ABA English report, we pulled it down back in October 2025. And my teacher, thank you so much. I would like to give him all the I just want to show a little bit of my appreciation for teacher Juan Camilo Perez. He is my teacher right now in the research project, and he has helped me a lot trying to identify a little bit more, identifying with this defined sample of 637 adult beginners from the ABA English platform through Confinalco. The report generated has different variables. One of them is the studying days, how many days the student has accessed the platform, the study time, how often, and how long the student remains practicing in the platform, the units they complete from 144 completed units in the whole course, the time the student spends in the review classes and that are conversation classes that are voluntary, and the attendance actually accessing the platform. So Juan Camilo, my teacher, ran this report using artificial intelligence tools And also this K means clustering. Um, this method group all of this information downloaded from the platform in the report, and it showed in the results that we will show in a minute 4 different clusters based on engagement metrics. Now, look at this. The data analysis, you can identify that with the k-means clustering, we can identify over here in a scattered way plots display beginner students grouped into 4 different clusters. The K means clustering. Each color represents a different cluster projected into 2 dimensions using the principal component analysis. Right? So we will explain this a little bit more. Well, based on the colors over here, cluster 0, orange, and the blue color, cluster number 1, cluster number 2 in green, and cluster number 3 in yellow, bright yellow. So this, looking at it from another perspective, those 4 clusters we can identify, these are the engagement of the learner. So in the number 4, we have the inconsistent learners. They show fluctuation engagement patterns, so they do not engage much in the platform to practice. The low engagement learners, they struggle with participating and completing the units and actually access the review classes or the conversation classes. The study learners in the number 2, they maintain consistent progress and performance, so they kind of achieve maybe 1 or maybe at least 2 levels in the platform. And the high achievers in the number 1, they are actually consistently and they excel in all aspects in the practice of the platform. Now, in pedagogical recommendations based on the data analysis results of the ABA English report, we can generate different strategies based on the clusters. And for high achievers, for example, we can provide advanced materials and encourage leadership roles for the students that achieve higher levels. The steady progress for the cluster number 2 is that we can use clear goals and consistent feedback to reinforce the habits as they access the platform. The low engagement, for the low engagement students, we offer additional support and structure plans to increase the accountability. And for irregular learners, the ones that don't access much to the platform, we can emphasize maybe flexible options and gentle reminders to build routines and to understand a little more how is the use of the platform and how can they actually engage into accessing more constantly and doing a few more activities more constantly. So the study is not finished yet. Of course, it's just beginning, and we still need to apply the interviews and we need to apply the survey, which is going to be done actually pretty soon. And hopefully later with the triangulation of this information, we will be able to make, the whole thesis, but also completing the research study. And at the end, as I mentioned before in the objectives, is to identify what kind of strategies I'm going to be able to use with the students. Every month, there are newcomers, new students coming into the platform and the course. So we give them and we provide them with some recommendations and some tips, and we explore the platform. But since it hasn't been enough, what, based on the study, on the research project, identifying motivation to the core, what kind of strategies I'm going to be able to apply with the students. All of the students, so most of them, a higher percentage complete minimum one of the levels, one or A2 or any of the levels in the platform, but actually in the full year of access of the platform, completing one or two or even three levels of the Common European Framework of Credits. So we will see. Thank you so much for watching, and I appreciate this time and being able to show some information about my thesis. Thank you so much.